Welcome to Networking RX, a podcast devoted to helping business professionals like you enhance your networking skills in order to become more proficient giving and receiving quality business referrals and improving the overall quality of your life and the lives of those around you. The Networking RX podcast is a production of AmSpirit Business Connections, an organization whose mission is to empower business success through networking.
Unless you've been living under a rock, you know of this thing out there called LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is a blessing and LinkedIn is a curse. It used to be that from the networking standpoint, you could kind of put your persona on a shelf unless you were out at events or talking with somebody. And I mean, you could, literally just go home and kind of unwind. With LinkedIn, and this is why it's, in my mind, it's a blessing and it's a curse, is that you have a brand out there and that brand is working for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it just goes and it goes and it goes and it goes. And that's a good thing because it's there and you can be on vacation and people are looking at your profile. The bad thing is that it's out there all the time and it really kind of is an extension of you and you need to get it right. You just need to get it right because it's going to be out there all the time. And that's not necessarily the case with in the old days when you didn't have LinkedIn. You could just kind of put yourself on the back burner. So today I have a guest on. Marilyn August, and she's a money attracting expert. For more than 15 years, her breakthrough sales and marketing strategies have shown sales and business professionals how to close more deals and make more money. She was a small business consultant with the SBDC, that's the Small Business Development Center, and that's part of the United States Small Business Administration. And through that, she helped countless small and medium-sized businesses identify strengths, recognize their weaknesses, and develop sales accelerator opportunities, and then banish growth revenue stumbling blocks. But over the last 4 years, she has developed her LinkedIn social selling expertise when she discovered a golden 21st century opportunity to build a network on this world biggest platform for professionals. And so I'm a fan of LinkedIn. I'm a fan of people who work on LinkedIn. I'm a fan of using it as a tool for networking. So I wanted to have Marilyn on here to talk about her expertise, what she has found, what she's discovered, and how she can help you be better networked through the wonder that is LinkedIn. Marilyn, welcome.
Well, I thank you so much, Frank. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for that lovely introduction.
No problem. Well, you heard that you heard my little rant there. It is a blessing and it is a curse, right?
I totally agree. It's a blessing and a curse, and I love the way you said it. I think you said it better than most people.
Well, it can be a great thing if people do that. I run into so many people, Marilyn, that it's like for them, LinkedIn is just checking a box. Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. Oh, I have a profile picture now, and that's it. And I think LinkedIn can be very telling about people. I don't mean that in a bad way, but
all right, so let's start at the beginning, and here's where I think you're going. People have LinkedIn mixed up with social media. I call it spaghetti marketing. That they think that likes go to the bank, or that LinkedIn is like Facebook or Instagram, and it's not. It's a professional networking platform, no matter how much Microsoft would like you to believe that it's Facebook. It's not Facebook. It's professional. And it's personal in the same way. By that, I mean it's personal branding. If I see a profile with no photo, I'm gone.
Yeah.
If you're not virtual, you're real, not real. Today, people kick the tires before they open the door. So let me give you an analogy for LinkedIn. And I think you and I talked about this. In the olden days, old enough for me to remember, if I wanted to try out a new restaurant, I opened the door, I tried it out, I sampled the food. If I liked it, I came back. If I didn't like it, I might have told 4 or 5 neighbors not to go. If I liked it, I might have told 3 to 4 neighbors, you got to try this place out, or friends, or the next time I went out, I might try it again. But today, I actually did this. I was thinking about trying a new sushi place in a strip mall, a strip center. And I was sitting in my car looking at the door of the restaurant. And what did I do? I did the same thing that everybody else does. I pulled out my phone, I looked it up, I Googled it, and I read the reviews. And it had photos, and it had testimonials, and it had nice things to say about the servers and the prices. And I got out of my car and went in and tried the restaurant. Think about your business the same way. People know a heck of a lot more about you before they even say hello.
Right.
They check you out. 77% of people start their buy journey online. And if your LinkedIn profile looks like a resume, or it looks like, I'm seeing more and more of this, it drives me crazy. It looks like an advertisement in which you tell me how great you are. I'm going to say pass. It's so easy to not bother. So your LinkedIn profile, your LinkedIn is an extension of your personal brand. And no matter what people buy, I don't care what they buy you. Unless you're a commodity. If you're selling a commodity, go to Facebook.
Yeah, I agree. What should we have on our LinkedIn profile? I know that's ask 6 people and you probably get 6 different answers, but I'm asking you, so go ahead.
Well, let me give you the basics first and then go to the crux of the matter. First of all, that default cover or banner at the top should never be defaulted. It's free real estate. The way I do it is I use it for your branding very often because this is a real fact, a major factor in my thinking is consistency and credibility. I design the banner has to say something. It has to, because we're a visual society. Obviously, the photo, you cannot imagine what I see in photos and it's so simple today to get a decent photo. If you don't want to pay for a headshot, get a decent headshot on your phone.
Yeah, you can do it yourself.
Yeah, it's not rocket science. They actually had somebody who had a family photo in that little tiny space. He had himself and his daughter, right? And he argued with me that was professional. Well, you may love your family, but put that photo on Facebook or Instagram. Your professional photo belongs on LinkedIn. We don't have a lot of time, but in my trainings, I display an array of photos. And my question is, who will you never do business with just based on this photo? So I had it in my head. I put a ringer in there and I thought, okay, they're all going to choose this ringer. And of course they didn't. They chose, interestingly enough, they chose the guy who was nicely dressed, but he had a curtain background. There was too much background in the photo for them. So keep it simple on the photo. Okay, the headlines, like, critically important. If I could leave your listeners with nothing else today, please take all your fancy initials off there. Nobody cares and nobody really knows what they mean.
That's a great point. I saw somebody, they had probably 6, 7 designations after their name. We all get MBA, right? I understand that.
We got MBA.
Yeah, and that's pretty universal. But yeah, you're right. A lot of people just don't understand what they are.
And even the MBA, why do I care? Why do I care? If you're looking for a job, maybe I care. And then the headline, that 122 characters. I mean, I probably do a whole show just on the headline, on what it should be and should not be. But let me just give you a real fast tip. Eliminate the word help from anything in your headline. I help people do X. I help people do Y. The reason I'm saying that, you might have to go look up transactional analysis, but it automatically puts your prospect, your prospective viewer, in a less than scenario. So wording is really important. I am a wordsmith. And also the problem you solve. I don't care about your fancy titles.
Right.
I don't care about your certifications. Make it work for you. But given all that, those are the basics. The part that's really critical is the about section. That is your personal brand. That's where it all happens. And forgive my sarcasm, but LinkedIn or Microsoft, who now owns LinkedIn, in its infinite wisdom, and that was a sarcastic remark, has made it a 2-line default open. Every web designer in the world knows that the more clicks you have to do, the more difficult it is to get to people to engage. So those first 2 lines of your profile, the only purpose of those is to get that click.
Yeah.
And that's what personal branding is so very important. And it's like a newspaper headline, Frank. If the first 2 lines are boring, I'm gone. I'm scrolling. I actually have a post called Stop the Scroll. How do I get people to stick around and get to know me and kick the tires? So the first 2 lines. So I think those are the most important. Of course, the personal branding. I actually was in communication with a woman today who was dealing with some money objections. And I asked her a question. First of all, I told her how to get beyond the money objection, the questions to use. And the other thing that was going through my mind that I didn't have time to ask her about was, why you? Why of all the people that do what you do? And that is the distinction in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Market dominating position. I rarely see those in profiles. Of everybody else in the entire world, the thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people, why you? And that's why I'm a done for you, because it's really, we're too close to our forest to see our trees. It's very difficult to pull out your own market dominating position. But boy, I listen to you and I hear them. And for some reason, I can write them. And that's critical, not only that your audience knows your value, but that you know your value proposition and can articulate it in such a way that people stop the scroll.
Do you think how do I want to put this? I'm a big fan of less is more. And I see some people have those descriptions and they go on, and I don't know if anybody really reads them. I tend to, okay, what's that first paragraph say? What does that first little bit say? And then I might be intrigued to move on, but chances are I'm busy.
Well, you said the key word, I might be intrigued to move on.
Yeah.
So yes, attention spans are short. They tend to be getting shorter, unfortunately. So very often I will put it, at the bottom of the LinkedIn, there's a place for recommendations, but talk about nobody ever reads.
Yeah.
Nobody's reading to the bottom of your profile.
Yeah.
So when I do a profile, depending on the person, I will often put a testimonial right in the profile. I'm also doing something that I didn't do when I first started, which was actually more than 4 years ago. I'm putting the backstory in. If there's a good backstory,
Yeah.
good why. So I was, without disclosing who it was, but I was working with a product business that's a very, frankly, boring product, but has a very large market and sells to very, very large companies. And it's a family-owned business, a nice business. It's a national business, but only for about 5 or 6 employees full-time. And they do quite well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking to myself, how the heck am I going to make this interesting? So I asked the owner why, of all the things he could be doing in his life, is he doing this? And he had an interesting, I was able to write a paragraph about his why, how he came upon this particular product, why this product, why he organized his business the way he did. And the truth of the matter is, if you've got substance as a human being, your business is going to reflect that. If there's nothing inside, I have a heck of a time writing a profile.
Yeah. What should I be posting on LinkedIn? What should people be posting on LinkedIn? What should they avoid posting is maybe a better question.
Well, it's interesting you asked, because my post today is going to be about everything you should avoid.
Okay.
So let me go with what you should do, because I can give you a dissertation on what you shouldn't do. Well, actually, I can give you 3 brand crushers. So I can give you 3 shouldn's first.
Okay.
Okay, so the 3 brand crushers, and you can also find this in a post of mine. 3 brand crushers, anything political. Do not post political. That's a no-no. Even if I agree with you, which I probably won't, but don't post politically. No religious posts. No matter your religion, does not matter. You're telling people that you only want to do business with people in your religion. And the third one, and the bonus one that we're seeing more and more about, is do not, under any circumstances, slap pitch me. In other words, don't use a post as an ad. It's a psychological thing. People get pissed. I get pissed when I get an invite that's an advertisement.
Yeah.
They're going to tell me how you're going to fix me before you know me.
Yeah.
I even get them from LinkedIn people. I got it from a LinkedIn person that I've been following for years that I really admire. And I wrote him back. He apologized.
Was it something he did, or was somebody? So that's what I find, is that people turn their link over to somebody else rather than spending 20 minutes a day.
Well, actually, I'm one of those people they turn it over to.
Okay.
There's an art and a skill to doing messaging.
Yeah.
That is why people turn it over to me. But I don't manually, I don't take it up once. It's hard to explain, but there's a point at which it needs to be turned over. But let me tell you a real quick story about,
Please,
I was doing a campaign for somebody, and I know I haven't answered you what we should post, but I was doing a campaign for somebody, and it was actually a fundraising campaign for an expansion. And we got an answer from a very, very well-known, nationally known, very wealthy guy. And this guy was not known as a venture capitalist, but he was highly respected national figure. And when I wrote him back, he told me that this particular sector wasn't in his wheelhouse. So where my head was going was, he'll be a great referral. He can refer us to somebody because he knows people, right?
Right.
Yeah. Because he's in that world. My client jumped ahead of me and tried to persuade him to invest, ruined the relationship before it started.
Yeah.
because he slap pitched him. When the guy clearly said, "You're not in my wheelhouse," I was going to go for the referral. So one of the things that I found is that there has to be one person who knows what the heck they're doing. And I will only work with certain people because of that. I learned my
Right.
lesson on that one. But what you should be posting these days are not necessarily 3 funny tips on how to fix this, or a quote that you got from somebody else. So there's 2 types of posts that I'm seeing that seem to be really working. There is a speakers coach I know, and she is excellent at, she's reading all these articles in her category, and she'll repost an article that she's read, say in Inc. magazine, but she'll comment on why she's posting it. She's obviously read it. She might pull out 2 or 3 bullet points and say, you can read the rest of the article, but this is what I think you need to know, or this was interesting. The other kind of post, and I never have to look for content, is real life stories about client experiences. So everything I'm telling you today is not made up.
Right.
It comes from real life. And the what not to post came from me seeing posts. So what I have suggested to people is that they keep, like on their phone or something, they capture crazy stuff that happens to them during the day with prospects or clients, and turn those into posts. But a post can educate me, but I think the 3 tips that you need in order to solve this problem is kind of getting old. I think you have to be a storyteller, but not just junk posts. So my words of wisdom are, if you've got nothing to say, say nothing.
Yeah.
There is no magic in posting 5 days a week, unless there is somebody who built his entire training program over posts because he had a strategy behind the tactic called posting. But this guy posts real stuff. He's a sales trainer. He posts real stories. He teaches 1 point in every post. And they're text posts, they're not fancy. Also, I'm sick of talking heads. I don't know about you. Tell me your opinion about what I call a talking head video, is someone that's staring into the camera and lecturing me.
That might be me. I've been doing LinkedIn Lives. And
I stepped in it, didn't I?
no, I don't know. I mean, I was encouraged to do it. I have a lot of training to get out there, and I have an audience. I have a large organization. So, and people, when is this? Get me the link. And my organization's pretty spread out geographically, so it provides me an opportunity to get the word out.
I wasn't particularly talking about LinkedIn Live. I was talking about those videos you see in your feed that people are telling you how wonderful they are.
Oh, yes. Oh, no, I don't do that. I'm first of all, I'm not wonderful.
Shoot.
No. No, you didn't step in it. I totally agree. Don't tell me what your mom tells you, right? I don't need to hear that your mom thinks you're great. I don't need to allow me to come to that conclusion myself, right? That's the way I look at it.
Exactly.
No, so, we're on the same page. We're on the same page.
Yeah, I just see so much of that in my feed these days about people telling me that I see this a lot on virtual marketing agency, that their virtual marketing agency can fix all my problems.
Yeah.
So I think, again, we're back to the word substance. There has to be something unique, and content marketing is another way that people kick the tires. It's another way that they know that you're legitimate,
right,
that you're credible. If you're not engaging with your comments, or you don't have a follow-up system, what's the point? And of course, there's that LinkedIn algorithm that people are trying to beat these days. And they change it. So if you're trying to beat it, you can count on it. Microsoft, it's going to change it.
Well, if it's like Google, it's changing hourly. I mean, it's not okay, we're going to change it for the month. It's like something's being tweaked all the time. So forget it. Just be you.
But what I do want to say about content is once it's there, don't forget to use it everywhere.
Right.
Since you've gone to the trouble of doing it. But I call it junk content isn't very valuable. So the point of the content is engagement.
Yeah, totally agree. Let's shift gears here, Marilyn. Let's talk about your business, the things you do, types of how the audience might be able to help you, who you're looking to work with or who you are working with.
Well, I've expanded my horizons. I call it back to my roots. The reason I started LinkedIn was doing sales and marketing coaching, now what would be called coaching. Mm-hmm. And my clients couldn't get cold calls. It's all about turning a cold call into a warm call. So while I specialize in LinkedIn marketing, I'm a sales coach and trainer, mm-hmm. particularly with sales mindset. And I tend to work with companies of 5 or less salespeople. I'm also looking at consistency, sales consistency across the LinkedIn platform. Something I've noticed recently is every salesperson in the company doing their own thing, which is great up until a point, but at some point can destroy a brand. So I'm looking at brand integrity. There's a lot of garbage out there. I don't know if you've noticed that, Frank, but there's a lot of garbage out there that I help people avoid. I call it dump the head trash, bring home the cash. And so I'm really not a cookie cutter. Somebody asked me today if I was a coach for the fitness industry, and I'm not. I don't deal with a vertical market. I deal with small businesses that tend to sell to larger companies. So they have a complex sale. It's not a commodity sale. It's maybe a 2-step sale, but they're looking to grow and expand their horizons. And they may or may not have a small internal marketing department, but people can reach me at Profit GPS. I'm all about close more deals, make more money, because I really truly believe that good people having more money is a good thing. I'm with you on doing good in the world.
Yep. That's profitgps.com, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or connect with me on LinkedIn, Marilyn August.
Yep, just like the month. Like the month.
Just the month. I have to spell it all the time.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I appreciate your time today. This has been wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Thanks for joining us on the Networking RX podcast. Please put what you've learned into action today and let us know if you have questions, comments, or ideas for future topics. You can email them to us at podcast@amspirit.com. That's AmSpirit.com. Finally, so you never miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the Networking RX podcast through iTunes, Overcast, or however you receive your podcasts. Now get out and network with someone.
The Networking RX podcast is the copyright production of AmSpirit Business Connection. All rights reserved.